We can all agree that chicken teriyaki is one of the greatest dishes of all time. I'm gonna show you why you can and you should be making this dish at home in your weekly rotation. And it all starts with the sauce. A simple teriyaki sauce has very minimal ingredients. While it might be easier to pick up a bottle of pre-made teriyaki sauce, you'll end up with ingredients that you just don't need. About a cup of soy sauce. I use the reduced sodium just because you can always add salt later. A little sake, about a quarter cup. I do think some of y'all might be like, but I had to go buy the sake. But you can just buy really small bottles. And I promise it's gonna be worth the investment because I'm gonna show you why. A few tablespoons of rice vinegar, and then a third cup of brown sugar. The sugar, as it cooks, is going to reduce and create that glaze effect. Hey, guess what? You just made teriyaki sauce. You just keep it in a jar. No need to buy anything off the store. Just to save a step down the line in the cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and finish it off with the flavorings that I like. Sesame seeds, because I just like the way it looks, and it adds a little bit of nuttiness when you do go to cook this. And then just a pinch of crushed red pepper, because I like a little kick. And that's better than anything you get off of the shelves, okay? This is gonna last in your fridge like 3 months, 4 months. Although it's not gonna last that long because you're gonna use it in everything. You can make anything teriyaki. Salmon teriyaki, shrimp teriyaki, beef teriyaki. This is also great to add to marinades for grilled chicken. Cook it down, add a little sriracha and toss your wings in it. You can just sprinkle it over rice as a quick side dish for your family. Toss it with roasted veggies. See what I'm saying? Now let's make chicken teriyaki. All you really need is the chicken and this. I'm going to, elevate it because I'm trying to give you the best chicken teriyaki, better than takeout, remember? So, little ginger, and just kind of scrape that peel off. Once it's peeled, I'm just gonna grate it right into the pan, along with a couple cloves of garlic. Little green onion. So you're gonna use a whole bunch of green onions, whites and green parts. I'm gonna take out a little bit of the green to save for the top, but everything else is going in. For chicken teriyaki, you gotta have the chicken. I'm gonna use boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I just like cooking with these, especially when you're doing something like stir fry, because you're less likely to overcook it. These are very forgiving, and they're less expensive than chicken breast, although you can totally use boneless, skinless chicken breast. Just kind of trim it and then just cut it into chunks. You could slice this into like strips, or you can use whole chicken breast or whole thighs. That could still be chicken teriyaki. But I'm doing more of like the stir-fried approach. Teri translates to shine, and yaki is like grilled or roasted. So at the end of the day, you just want a shiny sauce on some sort of grilled, roasted, or broiled meat. Let's cook it up. Since this comes together so fast, I'm gonna show you how to cook the rice too. So I'm gonna show you my foolproof way to cook rice. I'm gonna use basmati rice, just any kind of long grain. White rice is fine. I kind of do like a reverse way to cook it. The instructions will say to bring your water to a boil, then add your rice, stir. Ain't nobody got time for that. I start out by sauteing my rice in the butter, and what this does is it coats those grains of rice and it keeps them separate during the cooking. I think a lot of people's problem is that their rice sticks together. That's A, because you don't do this, and B, because you stir it too much. So here's how to avoid that. I'm gonna go in with the butter, get that melting. Okay, once the butter's melted, in goes the rice. And then stir till each grain of rice is coated in the butter, and it'll start to become a little bit translucent. You want each grain to be a little bit shiny. Let it toast up for just about 30 seconds to a minute while I get my water. And listen, you can make as much rice as you want using this exact same method. The only thing you need to remember is that it's 2 parts liquid to 1 part rice. If you want to add more flavor to your rice, you could sub in chicken stock instead of water. But we're gonna have so much flavor in our teriyaki, we can just do plain white rice. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt before I add the water. And 1 more stir, but you can see how it's all nice and coated. Doing it this way takes also a little less time because you don't have to wait so long for your water to boil. Now here's the crucial part that's going to be the differentiator between gummy rice and fluffy rice, is we gave it 1 little stir after we added our liquid and then leave it alone. We're gonna bring it up to a boil, and then we'll just give it 1 more stir, turn it down, and cover it until all that liquid's absorbed. Just don't stir it too much. That's how to activate those starches and make your rice really sticky. Okay, so while we wait on that, I'll go ahead and heat my skillet up for my teriyaki. So we want to get our skillet nice and hot. We are kind of doing this more like a stir fry method, so we know that that means high heat and lots of stirring. And to that, I'm just gonna add a neutral flavored oil. Just to flavor my neutral oil, I'm adding in a little bit of sesame oil. That's just gonna deepen the flavor of the teriyaki. If you are up for it, I highly recommend adding this. Our rice is coming to a boil, so I'm just gonna give it one more stir, reduce the heat, and then cover it. Before I stir fry my chicken, I'm going to just season it with just salt and pepper. And I'm gonna drop my chicken in, and I'm not gonna touch it. I want it to develop a crust because you know I love to build that flavor. Get it down in one layer, and then let her go. All right, when the chicken's brown, give it a little flip, and then I'm gonna pull it out of the pan. It's not gonna be fully cooked, but almost cooked. That's some good crust right there, and it gives the flavor something to stick to. We'll finish cooking it in the sauce. And to our drippings, I'm gonna grate in our ginger and garlic. If you don't have one of these, you could just finely chop it before, and now is the time to toss it in. Give that a little stir to become fragrant. I'm gonna add in that green onion, and then the star of the show, our sauce, about 3/4 cup. Traditionally, you would just bring this to a boil and let it simmer until it's reduced and becomes shiny on its own. If you want to speed up that process, this is when you could add a little bit of a slurry of cornstarch and water, and it will thicken and get shiny in no time. I'm gonna let it reduce and kind of do its thing for a while. You wanna see my rice? Look at that. You can see by all the bubbles that the sauce has started to reduce a lot. It's about 1/2 to 2/3 of the way done. And at that point, I'm gonna go back in and add the chicken so that it finishes cooking, and then it gets coated and tossed in that deliciousness. While it's finishing its final stages, I'll give you one more recipe. Broccoli is just my go-to with this dish because I love how this sauce can get soaked into that broccoli. This is for like the best flavored broccoli. Heat up another pan. So you could do this same thing in the oven, but what I like to do is toss it with some oil, a little garlic powder, salt, and pepper. I'm gonna put my broccoli in. I like to put any flat sides down in the pan like that. It's all done. You see that? How shiny. We're gonna plate it up, and I'm gonna finish it off with a special treat. Down with some rice, beautiful glazed chicken. This has got to be better than takeout, but I can wait no longer for the taste test. Oh, that warms my heart. If you've stuck around this long, grab your glass and let's make a cocktail. The sake spritzer. A little trusty bag of ice. You could use gin or vodka, whatever you are feeling. Nicole can't spell cocktail without vodka. So just about 1/2 a shot. So sake has like, you know, that kind of that floral-y kind of note, and I always think grapefruit goes well with that kind of flavor. Do about equal parts of the sake. And to make it a spritzer, a little ginger ale. This also kind of reminds me of the ginger we put in the teriyaki chicken. Oh, that is so good. It is so refreshing, but not too sweet. You know, it's just like a splash of this. You just get that little bit of effervescence. You definitely taste the grapefruit. Definitely get the hint of ginger, floral. Amazing. It's the 2-for-1 chicken teriyaki special. Please make it.